What's up, everybody? We are live having some fun. I'm going to be looking down at the screen here so I can see your guys' comments. But we'll get started here in a minute. Wait for everybody to show up. What a great day. What a great day. Another one. Another great day. It's been getting a little chilly, so it's been getting a little harsher. The weather's getting rough. So today's video, and hopefully X-Ring will show up here in a few minutes. I figured I'd start early, let some people in, say hi to everybody, and then we'll get started, have some fun. I see there's a few out there already, so thanks for showing up. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. Look at that logo. Blurry from here, but pretty cool. So my daughter painted that today. Fresh paint. And she did an excellent job on it. So pretty excited about that. Kind of spices up the room a little. What do you think? Brian Marks, what's going on? How you doing? Driving home from work. Will you drive safe, sir? Daniel got as my judge. What's going on? Cold as crap. What's great about that? Wayne Ribick. What's going on? How you guys doing today? Hey, Daniel, just so you know, I'm going to have Brian from Gulch Gear come on maybe tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure. He's still trying to figure out his computer. But what's up, John Parson? But it's going to be a good chat. And maybe something you want to jump in on, just for the fact is that you have used the Gulch Gear equipment before. And you can kind of give your thoughts, maybe even help them out with, if you saw any things you didn't like or whatever the case was. Always is a good help. Joaquin is in the house. Appreciate you guys showing up. Should start here in a few minutes. Waiting for X-Ring. So basically, yep, really. You got the 6.5 Creedmoor. You guys have seen it. You got the RPR by Ruger, the Rimfire 22 long rifle. Put out a video today on shooting, hey Brian, shooting the Know Your Limits targets. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that. I put that out a couple hours ago. This thing did really well with just standard CCI, standard velocity, this stuff here. And it did really well. There is more accurate ammo out there, but it did a good job. Some of the things... It's going well, Brian. That I wanted to talk about, and I was kind of hoping the master of all masters comes in, but I basically set this rifle up to be identical to this one with the exception of the caliber. So they're both bolt guns, as you might be able to see in the screen. I don't know how blurry it is. But length of pull, I made sure it's the same as this one. I actually brought this trigger down to this weight of this trigger, which I think is 2 3/4 pounds. And there is extra. What's going on?
What is up, gentlemen?
How are you
and
doing?
Ladies?
I was telling them about some of the things I've been working on to try to make this rifle a practice rifle for this rifle here. So look at that. See that logo over there? Boom.
I see that.
Yeah. My daughter painted that about half an hour ago. So it came out pretty well. I like it.
Still looks like a phallic symbol.
Yeah. Bulls. I got bulls.
Strong like bull.
Strong like bull. Let's see. We got John Parson. How you doing? Black Sheep Dog. I'm curious what's going on, Mr. Bell.
What is up, Joaquin?
Let's see. Who's texting us? Huh. Brian Gulch Gear. Maybe I can throw him on here as well. I don't know if you've seen that gear that I've brought out in the past, the camouflage Gulch Gear, Ray.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have the owner Brian. I'm gonna have him on one of the chats to kind of talk about it and show his new updates. He's got some new styles and that kind of junk. Pretty awesome. So, as being a professional / badass shooter that you are compared to me, what are some of the things? Am I doing this right about length of pull, trying to get the trigger weight right, using the same reticle and scope? Basically, it's the same scope to be able to practice utilizing my 6.5 treatment.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Other than getting, so my options, if shooting the AI, are to get the Voodoo Innovations, and I'm not going to pay $3,500 or $3,000 for a 22 as a trainer. It replicates it in every way, shape, and form except you're shooting a 22. So in your case, you have very similar chassis. You have the same optic. You have the same trigger pull. You don't have the same bipod, but I mean that's okay. But if you're practicing and truly practicing,
Well, I've been using this one. I just put that one on there today.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to train. I mean, especially if you want to work on your holdovers, want to work on dialing, and you can do it a whole lot cheaper. So yeah, the only difference is I think your Tikka is a 2-stage trigger and the Ruger is a single stage, and that's just the only thing. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I've been having good luck. Like the reticle yesterday when we were setting up for that know your limits target, and we had brought it in to 50.
Yep.
When I shot at the target, I could read the amount of mils I needed to go down, and it was sweet.
It's awesome. That's what I'm saying. It's just it makes it so nice. And then yeah, I finished out the AI last night. I went ahead and put everything back on it that needed to be on it. So let's see. I guess I can show everybody this.
Thank you, Donnie.
So that's how the Cerakote turned out. It's almost a perfect blend.
Hey, Rich.
It
looks really nice. I've seen it in person. The match is match perfect.
Yeah, for comparison, I could probably grab the 6.5 AI barrel, the Creedmoor, and compare it. This is just a hair lighter, but it's so close. It's so like from this angle, you can't even tell.
It has more of a sheen maybe than the old one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I've got the Wilcox on here. I've got the Raptor mounted with the pressure switch, the Night Force, the LRA, the Hawkill data card, and the kitchen sink is in the back there. But it's good. I'm actually working on something pretty interesting right now. AI magazines are crazy expensive. Okay, you're going to play over $100. So you get 10 rounds in here. But what if you took 2 mags and you cut them and then laser welded them?
They don't work.
So, huh?
Did it work?
It does work. However, I need more spring pressure. So I've got to figure out if I take the follower out here. Hold on, give me un momento.
Yep. Hey, Brian, Rich. Hey, Mike. Great answer.
So that's the spring that comes out of it. And so basically, I need to get more pressure so that this doesn't tilt. But basically, playing around with some feeding and basically married everything up right. But yeah, laser welded these perfectly, so they're in line. But these are 20-round box mags, and that's something that's unobtainium from Accuracy International.
Yeah, so you basically have to buy $200 mags, cut one in half, and weld it to the other one, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Just had to ruin 4 mags to do it, and that's a pretty big chunk of coin. This right here was actually on the spring. I actually laser welded that too, so you can actually see it. So basically took one spring and another spring, but my angle's wrong, and it's allowing it to do this. I mean, it'll feed like 10, 11 rounds, but then I start having some nosing issues, so I got to keep this front up.
Can you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and answer that 45's question there.
Yeah, I don't know if Lancer will ever make any 6.5 Grendel mags. I don't know if it's high on their priority list. It's always worth a try, maybe calling them or something like that, but I've never reached out to them. And those ASC mags, oh yeah, hold on, I got to show you guys this. As long as I don't touch it, I'm good, right?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, the Lancer mag is my favorite mag to use. Ever since trying one out with Ray, it does have the metal feed lips, and it is a great mag compared to. I was a big mag tool guy, and then tried those, and man, I thoroughly enjoy the one, especially the smoke one, so you can see the ammo, see if it's empty or not.
Yeah, after doing that video on the Lancer, I did have someone comment, said he had a spare rail, and I told him that was very gracious, but I was able to actually find one in my drawer. So she is good to go now. I actually have the bipod mounted on the Lancer,
Nice.
and yeah, I put a 2-inch pick rail on there. So yeah, I think it'll be good to go. And then Joaquin says, how does the AI compare with the Lancer? You really can't compare those, I wouldn't say. They're both, sub half minute guns, but, one being a gas gun, small platform, lightweight, whereas the AI is just the opposite of that. It's heavy duty, it's 21 pounds, and it's crazy. He said maybe you need a different followers as one custom 3D printed. I don't know. I don't know what I would need to do. I know that the AI mags from the factory are not anti-tilt. And so one of the problems is as it's speeding, this stays down rather than coming up. So I don't know. It's something that I'd like to get worked out because there's nothing on the market for anything like that. Accurate mags. Yeah, these are not the AICSP mags. Okay, so this is not the same as. Okay, so the AICS, this was back in the day when it was a single stack, okay? And so Accurate Mags made those. I had some metal ones, but the new, for mine, this is actually a double stack. So it's not the same. They're not interchangeable. So that's the issue that I'm having.
All right, apologize. That was Brian from the here. Let's see, what's up, Mr. Mario Mosen? You there, Ray?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You
I'm listening.
froze it from there. You must have been reading. Papa Les, what's going on? Adamus. Almost stocked up to the channel will be about this long, ladies and gentlemen. So that's about 3 to 4 minutes left. Just kidding. What are you going to show them there, X-Ring? Let's see here.
Now, I had some people asking about the barrel length, and the barrel, when I measure it, it's, I know this is going to sound funny, it's longer than 18, but shorter than 20. It's an odd length. It's like 19, I guess. I don't know, measuring against the bolt face, but I've got the Thunder Beast in the way, so I'm trying to mark it as best I can.
Sorry. Some of the family came home, and the dogs decided they wanted to do their job and notify everybody. Let's see. Gail, how you doing? How about spot welding a tiny spring in front on the below the follower?
Yeah, maybe so. I've got to get it figured out. Like I said, it's really weird because the way the springs stack on here, there's no support on the front. You guys see that? So it's not like the magazine the magazine follower is the same width as the springs. It's just the way AI does it. I'll get it figured out, but like I said, I just want to, and I'm open to suggestions, but I just got to figure this angle out so that it feeds 100%.
Juan's asking what stock is on the Tika. That is the bone stock on the Tika. That's
bone stock.
Bone stock. It's the TAC 3A1. I just gave it a little Krylon, and I wasn't afraid to do it, and the scope. So that's just a bone stock Tika T3 TAC A1. Let's see.
Mario Mazen. I'm honestly going to say.
Mario.
Mario says he doesn't own a modern bolt action rifle. What would be a good entry level rifle, and which caliber do you suggest? It really depends on what you're wanting to do with it. If you're wanting to get into long range, if you're trying to hunt with it or something like that, I'm going to say probably a Remington PCR, or like if you're going to do long range, or even like a Ruger RPR. But if you're not going to do that, then maybe look at something like, I don't know, one of the Savage, or one of the, like maybe like a Ruger American. I don't really know what the purpose of or what the rifle is going to be used for. And really, bolt actions haven't really changed that much. So,
Yeah.
and I have to agree with Val. Val's saying the same thing. It's hard to beat an RPR, but that PCR is not bad either. And, I don't know where Mario Mosen is at. I know I have a lot of people contact me.
He's in California.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I had some
Cal.
people contact me from overseas, and the price of some of these long rifles that we shoot, we take for granted, because there's a gentleman, I'll leave him nameless, but his cost on a Tikka T3, like what you have, is 2,100 euros.
What's that, like $2,500?
No, it's more than that, but I'll tell you exactly here. Hold on. Somebody else might be faster, but
Brian was asking about the EBR 7C. I know that the EBR 2C is discontinued. That's the one I run in both of these. And the 7C, I actually had a chance. A buddy of mine just picked up one, or he's picking up one, and he basically ended up buying this exact rifle right here, but left-handed version. And then he went to get the scope that I have, but they do not make it anymore. So that 7C is actually really nice. It has a couple more, if I remember correctly, a couple more little things within the reticle that's even actually a little nicer than this reticle here. The H59, I'm not sure. And I wouldn't want a thicker line than what's in there already.
Dang, I didn't realize the euro had lost so much to the US dollar, guys. It's changed, and almost everyone, because I didn't want to misquote, but it's saying 2,100 euros is equivalent to 2,280 US dollars. So it's not that bad. But he said entry level.
I'd go with that RPR, man.
I think that's what he's saying. I don't think he's considering that entry level, Rick. I think he's meaning, something that's $400 or $500, maybe. It's really hard to tell when someone says entry level.
All right, what budget you got, Mario, for just the rifle? How's that? I've known Mario for a while. He's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Shane's out there. How you doing, Brian? The gentleman. No, I have not. Uncle Sam don't pay me that much. Let's see. Damn euros are down. Savage makes a 6.5 Creedmoor for like $300. Baldwin Curious said. Awesome movie. I'll have to check that out. Someone had asked. What was it? I think it was Adamas that said something about if I had. Oh yeah, the GM6 Lynx. What is that? I don't know what that is. Do you have any idea what that is? This one right here.
No, how did I miss that? Where did it pop up at?
No, it's way up there. 810. Now you know how retirement feels. Lots of time to play. Daniel says, "Yep." It's still really weird. Do you know anything about it or no?
I do not. No.
Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Scroll down here. We looked at the Howa 1500 and 6.5 Creedmoor. I have two, and they're half-inch at 100 yards. I've heard nothing but good stuff about the Howa.
I am just the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I've had actually some personal experience. And I've had a lot of questions about the Howa here recently. Probably about 4 or 5 comments so far about the Howa or emails. And do you remember the dairy farm that I told you we went to?
Yeah.
Okay, so the rifle in question that day was a Howa. I think it was one of the 1500 series. And there was something wrong with that rifle. That ended up going, and that was actually a brand new rifle. We thought something was going on with the optics, and I actually took one of my night forces off of the rifle that I had, put it on that one because I was at a loss. This thing, at best, at 100 yards, would print a 5-inch group. There was something major going on with that rifle. That ended up going back to Howell, and Howell replaced that for free. So that was one experience, and then I had another experience with another one, and it was a bolt gun as well. So far, I've only had 2 bad experiences with them. Not to say anything as a whole, because I know there's some great Howas out there that shoot, or at least I've heard about them, but I have no personal experience.
So you got to shoot a Monday gun and a Friday gun, huh?
Yeah, apparently I did a Monday and a Friday, because, and if I'm not mistaken, to add to this, I think a third one. Did WTF SoCal, didn't he have to have the chamber recut on a Howa that he bought? Brand
I
new.
don't remember that. I don't remember what rifle it was, but I know he had.
Yeah, that was a Howa that he bought, and he wanted to do kind of like a trainer, kind of like what you're doing with the RPR.
Yeah.
And no, I know for a fact, I ought to just text him, but he had an issue with that gun, and the chamber was apparently cut incorrectly, and he had to take that to a gunsmith, and they had to recut the chamber. And that was with the brand new rifle. Matter of fact, I'm going to text him right now. Hold on.
What's an RPR running? Do you remember? Stock right out of the store. 600? 7?
RPR?
Yeah. The Ruger.
The 22?
No. No,
$1,100, man.
Is it that much?
Yeah. More expensive than the PCR.
Okay, what was the PCR? Not 800, right? One of them was 100.
800-ish.
800, yeah. That one actually, Ray has his best group ever printed on that gun. In his life, he said. So that's pretty good. So Mario, I guess you're gonna have to save up a few more bucks, my friend. Just dropped my barrel down to 16 inches. Gagabytes, what's going on? Mario Mosman cleaning with glass, but nothing to brag about, but something to get your feet wet. Just got to try it. Caliber, then I got the RPO. What optic should I put on a? Where'd it go? Yeah, it's crazy how this thing jumped. What optic should I put on a 22 long rifle RPR shooting 300 meters or less? Well, I don't want to answer that one because what's on here is bad. Well, meaning really good. Primary arms. Would you put that silver?
Primary arms make some good glass. That GLX series, that's good glass, and I know that can be had for the 500-ish price point, which is going to cost as much as some of the rifles we're talking about. But we're not talking about Platinum series or anything like that. I don't. The Silverline of. You know what? I can't say anything bad about the Silverline because that's actually what Sam has on his, and that thing tracks perfectly.
Yeah, there's that one little hiccup on the focus. Not the parallax, but the focus. That was it, right?
Yeah, Papa's Place said, yes, SoCal did. He bought a 223 Remington chamber and had it cut to 223 wild so he could shoot his high pressure loads. Yeah, I think that was the end result, but I think something led up to that. I'm actually texting him right now, and that was kind of like the solution, but I think there were issues with it beforehand.
What's going on, Hoop? How you doing? Gail says $1,200 in Indiana for the RPR. Yeah, I was way off on that. I was thinking they were like 8 for some reason. Mark IV Evolution now, all automated. Looking at a few videos, and that's my next big purchase. There you go, Val.
I've never need to make ammo that fast.
I just need a powder trickler. I want that one A&D.
Yeah, I'm trying to read through the comments here. That's why I got the dumb look on my face, like I normally do. But
Oh, the Arcane Optic too is a good option. Brian says. Oh, there wasn't Eagle Eye selling those with that R3 mount, or
yeah, the FR3, I believe he was doing a package deal.
yeah. I mean, it was like basically giving the mount away for free. That I've never shot out of the Arcane Optic, but I've heard great things, and Eagle Eye said that it's a good scope, so that means something.
Yeah.
To me. I believe his word.
Yeah, Yule Adams has a good question. He said, "What should he build for a quiet rifle that's not too long, 300 blackout or 308?" I've actually tried both of those, and the 308, you could use something that's got a little 16-inch barrel, and you could also, run a can on it and run subsonic 308. And it works. It works well, and it can be very quiet. But I think the options are a little better for the 300 blackout, so I would highly recommend that. You're just shooting some subsonic ammunition, or you can shoot supersonic, which you can do with the 308 as well. I just think there's a lot more options out there for the 300 blackout. I would choose that.
And can you run? You can still run a shorter barrel with that too, and still. Isn't it like
I couldn't hear you.
10? Isn't it like 9 or 10's like the pristine length for the?
Yeah, it gets full barrel, full powder burn, like 8 inches out or something like that. So yeah, you could go shorter and build a pistol if you wanted.
Well, even shorter with a can on it, you're still shorter than like regular 308 or something.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys. Can't wait to watch your next video later, y'all. Have a good one, Gail.
See you, Gail.
Have you metered the Grendel with the T-back versus without? No.
Nope. I have not even gotten any chronograph data. Yesterday, I was very limited on time. Rick will tell you, we were like hurried to get rounds out of this thing before it got dark. And yeah, there was no cherry picking the groups. What you guys saw is exactly how many rounds I shot out of it. I shot the 5-shot group, then I did the Hornady, and then I did I think it was 4-shot group, and that was it. And it hasn't been fired since. And then, because I know Rick was trying to get a review out on something. Did you release that review?
Yeah, it's out.
Okay. So we were really pushed. And so I have no chronograph data, no anything.
Yeah, the midnight oil was burning away, so we were trying to get the last bit of sun before it went down.
Yeah.
He says, but to answer your question, I want a rifle mostly for hunting. We have lots of pig here, and I want to be able to shoot further than 600 meters. I like the AR-10. Then get your ass an AR-10, fool.
Okay, so if he's going to do that and he wants to shoot further than 600 meters, and of course the 308 is plenty capable of shooting beyond 300 meters, but you might want to look at the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Hell yeah. I like that.
And an AR-10, you really don't have to spend huge money. But when you go to a large frame AR-10, yeah, you're gonna be going up a little bit in price. I don't even know what's out there and available right now, but you're still going to be looking at decent money.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been having a lot of fun with that bolt gun, Mario. Just seems to be a little more fun than the gas gun. But that's because it's a new thing for me. So.
Yeah, but that's one of those things you might not grow out of it. You might kind of be like me. Yeah, and I do love gas guns, but yeah, my heart's always going to be with a bolt gun.
Yeah. I'm still loving the fact my son's all about bolt guns right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Especially spanking you.
Yeah, he kicked my ass the other day. Go ahead.
Yeah, he did.
Tell him. won't sound as fun out of me than it will you. So go ahead.
No, my memory escapes me right now.
You remember?
All I remember is him just hitting everything and you not. So
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
no, he was driving tax, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he was shooting good. We were actually shooting at that know your limits target on Ray's. What rifle was that?
Okay, so hold on for just a second, and I'll. This will be somewhat educational, maybe.
It's always educational, especially when you're in here. Still loving that logo right there. What do you guys think of the new logo my daughter painted about an hour ago now? If you like the logo, give it a thumbs up. How's that? Daniel's of the opinion bolt guns are more accurate. I would agree with, I like your opinion.
Okay, so Rick got a know your limits target for rimfire, and we've shown you guys that. For those that haven't seen it, it is the same one that Todd with the Elster's rifles and reloading is shooting. This is how many inches, Rick?
2.
2 inches.
Yep.
It goes all the way down to a half inch. Okay.
No, quarter inch.
Quarter inch. I'm sorry. There's my finger. So that tells you, that's my pinky, how little that thing is. Quarter inch. And of course, we're at 100 yards. I don't think most people shoot those at 100. So Rick calls me and wants to try this target out. It was brand new the very first day. And he's like, yeah, we're going to shoot that know your limits target out at 100 yards. Well, I'm going to take what will give me the best opportunity to clean that know your limits target. So he shows up and I have a Kimber. It's called a 17 Mach 2. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but looking right here, that is a 22 long rifle, and then beside of it is a 17 Mach 2. It's not a 17 HMR. It's basically the same length as a 22 long rifle with a little 17 diameter bullet. Now, that thing is a tack driver. And the ammunition is actually Hornady 17 Mach 2. So yeah, it moves pretty quickly. But there is another round that a lot of people are not familiar with, and I've got one of those here. And it's called a 17 Aguila. Okay? I knew that was going to happen. That's why I've been going so slowly.
What's up, Tim Davis? How you doing, buddy?
Let's try this again.
I was hoping that was going to happen, but I didn't know.
So that is a 17 Aguila. Now you can shoot the 17 Aguila in the 17 Mach 2 chamber. Now it will completely blow that shoulder out, but you're not going to reload it anyway. And it is absolutely insane how accurate that thing is.
It is stupid, is what it is.
So anyway, Rick starts shooting his RPR, and I'm over there laughing because I know he's not going to get past about number 4 or 5 with that. And that 17 Mach 2 with that 17 Aguila in it was just going tink, 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 tink. I mean, it even hit the quarter. I won't tell him the funny story. He'll say that for the video. But then Rick's son jumps on the 17 and is killing it. And that's how the day went. And Rick was like, that's no fair showing up with that thing. I was like, it's a rimfire.
Yeah. He brought it up a whole nother notch. I'll tell him how it went. So it went like this. I was on the mat shooting, trying it out, and I'm like, oh, and I wasn't doing very well. I was at 100 yards, and I was using some really crappy ammo, like where's that box at? I think it was like M22 or something, and I'm all around it. I'm not hitting it, but I'm around it, and I'm sitting there and I go, oh, okay, and I'm gonna hit the tiny one before Ray does, so I can at least say I hit the smallest one before he does. And he's over on the Ranger, the 4-wheeler deal, and he's doing something else. So he runs over, jumps down, chambers around, bing! And I was like, son of a.
Yeah, somebody commented that the 17 is BB size, and yes, it is. But even that little short 17 Aguila, that's 1,850 feet per second. And then the Mach 2 is screaming out of there. You know, these are little 17 grain bullets.
Oh, I must be getting Netflix myself. Kenny's in there. There he is. Boom. What's up, amigo? How are you, my friend?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing well.
Oh man, watching you guys' videos. I just saw Rick nailing that target. Doing an awesome job, man.
That's fun. I'm having a great time learning the bolt gun.
Yeah, I definitely gotta pick you up one of those. Looks super fun.
It is stupid cheap to quit ammo wise.
That too.
I do like that. Well, Kenny,
Yeah,
I'm running the same reticle, so I can really practice my holdovers and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I got a pre-order for that Vortex Strike Eagle. I think that might be a good little 22 scope.
Okay. Well, there was actually a question in here before you got here about what's it called, Athlon scope or the F? What's that?
The Arkin.
Arkin. That
Okay.
combo kit. Are you still selling those or no?
Yes. Yeah. So I talked to Mike actually a few days ago. They are actually ramping up their production. They're getting a third party, or basically securing another manufacturer for those scopes. So pretty soon we're going to start seeing a big change in their actual customers. Basically, their customer base and their manufacturing process to be a hell of a lot better. They pretty much hit the market pretty hard with their price point, and they kind of put them back a little bit. But just like any other scope manufacturer out there, there's a little bit of a hurdle to get over, and I think their products are pretty good. But they're down to earth people, and I think that company might do some phenomenal stuff. But they're saying by June we should start seeing a lot of stuff in stock.
Oh, in June? That's cool.
Yeah.
Did he figure out if he's going to put those extra holes in it for different mounts and stuff? I'm pretty sure.
I didn't catch that. What was that again?
Was he? Did he figure out the mounting hardware for the sides and stuff to add additional jump to it?
Oh, you're talking about the F3R machine?
Yeah.
So I've been working with him, kind of a few designs. He's been kind of sick lately. Not the corona, but he's got a regular cold or something. So he's kind of take a little bit of a break. He's working on a few designs. He just has to manufacture them and get them anodized or whatever. But yeah, I think he figured out a few designs for some. I believe it was a card holder, and then your scope mount level.
Nice. So a dope card holder, you said?
Yeah, we told him that it'd probably be ideal to have a dope card holder just to have something. I know the one that Rick actually, Ray actually showed the other day, or I think it was a year ago. He had a video where you had the erasable dry erase markers. Those, I think that's what he's aiming for. One of those.
Yeah, I just showed one of those right before you jumped on.
Okay.
Ironically, but yeah, I don't know if what Brian's asking, how far away could you, I guess, hit the know your limit target? I guess if he's talking about the rimfire, with that 17, I'd feel comfortable maybe at about 120, 130 yards to run the whole rack. But other than that, no. That last target is a bear.
It's freaking a 1/4 inch. I was showing my daughter that I was holding up a pencil. I'm like, it's thinner than this.
Right.
That target, it's like, what the hell is it at? Boom. Highway 9, California. What's going on? Let's see. All the companies coming back with deals, or wait till after market picks back up. Are the companies coming back with deals, or wait? I don't know, Adamas. It's a good question. Oh, and then they want to know what the contraption was on top of your press, Kenny.
Oh,
It looks like a bullet feeder.
yeah. That's a 3D printed bullet feeder. In fact, I'm actually making another one for a giveaway, as you can tell here. So,
Oh, it's actually going. It's going right now, huh?
it's going right now. You can see that.
That's freaking badass.
So, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Double Alpha.
Yeah.
Now they patent pended. Used to be a free version of the 3D printed version of Double Alpha. Basically, the guy was his name is Ammo Mike. They took it down off of Thingiverse, which is like a 3D print site, but you can still download it off other people's YouTube channels. So, you just can't sell them. You could give them away, but they're all copyrighted now. It works phenomenal. I got it set up right now for 223.
That's freaking awesome. It's
Yeah.
cool that you can make stuff that you can actually use, not just like little plastic trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of things that you could really use lately. Like, for instance, I've been messing around with my own bubble level. I've actually been 3D printing my own bubble levels, and they work really good. They work really good. I was actually skeptic to think, okay, these will break, but I kid you not, I dropped my rifle right on top of this thing, and it didn't snap off. So it's just something. If you don't have a 34 or 35 millimeter tube, I just made my own up, and it works really, really good.
That's cool, man. I like it. Kenny, the innovations man. He's always building something cool. How's those cameras working out?
So I'm pretty much ready to go. The only thing that's holding me back, I do have a friend of mine that's working on an application for the Play Store, for the Google Play Store. So on Android, there's going to be an app that you can download, and it'll be able to actually measure your shots and everything, and take pictures and link back and forth, so you can see the before and after shots. So that's pretty much all I'm really waiting for, as well as the laser engraving.
Nice. That's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Where'd you go, Rick?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of cameras, I got one of these also.
Oh, you did get one.
Yeah. They reached out to me as well. So I got there's supposed to be a PRS match, but they canceled it. So I'm going to try to hit the one up next month in Peoria.
That's cool, man.
So,
Yeah, did Rudy take care of you on that?
yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Rudy is a good dude. Solid.
He is.
What did you end up getting, Kenny? What was that thing? I missed it.
Are we allowed to talk about it, or I guess no.
No, I probably wouldn't yet. I mean, they showed him at SHOT Show, but he was supposed to get up with myself and KB32 about that, so that we could basically review it. But it's a new product that they're coming out with, and they're the same company that makes the Tacticam, the 5.0, the one that I run for the video footage for the reticles.
Oh, awesome.
So it's a point of view. It's something cool that they're coming out with. It's really awesome.
Really cool. Yeah, he didn't give me any restrictions, so I'll have to call him again just to verify. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little item.
Yeah, did you pick up one of the Tacticam 5.0s as well?
I'm actually gonna buy a few so I can stock them. I definitely need to pick one up because I'm starting to do a lot of scope reviews and just kind of check out. I kind of just want to show folks how I do what I do. I definitely need to pick one of those up.
What's up, Fuzz Fork? We got a question from Brian Marks out here. If you guys got any answers.
I haven't had a chance to play with the 3-18, but I will tell you that so far of the primary arms that have been sent out to me, and you guys also know that I really haven't done many dedicated primary arms reviews or anything like that, and this conversation actually came up today. I've really got to have a lot of time with a product before I'm going to endorse it, and I have yet to have any issues with any of the primary arms optics that have been sent to me for review. The Platinum 6-30 that I've actually got on the Lancer that I reviewed yesterday in the 6.5 Grendel, that has been on a multitude of different guns. I've had it for about 2 months. I have still not released a review out on it, a dedicated review. And I actually spoke to those folks today, and I said, I feel comfortable doing a review on it now because I've had it long enough to really test it, try it, and they all seem to track well. Really surprised
Yeah.
at how much quality you can get for such a little price on some of the, like the Silver or the GLX.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a chance to use the ones that Ray has, and I don't have any complaints about them.
I have one or two. They're small complaints, but they're things that I'm going to bring up in the review on certain things that I would like to see different about them. But yeah, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, for sure.
The Highway 9, the AI is in 6.5 Creedmoor. There you go. Never mind. Rick is Johnny on the spot.
What's up, Levi? What's Fork?
This is a good question. Gagabyte says, what makes a good optic in my words? In my words is, first thing I'm going to look at is probably, because most of your higher end scopes are going to track well. They're going to do tracking tests on them and everything else before they leave. That is a big portion of it, but the very first thing that I look at is the glass. For me, first and foremost is the glass to make sure that the clarity is there. If I see any type of fish eyeing or cloudiness or whatever, I'm probably going to write that off right off the bat. I'm just, and look, there are some really good scopes that have issues with that. I'll give you a prime example. This came up the other day. So you guys remember when Vortex came up with the Strike Eagle 1-6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was a great optic. It was about $300, and it kind of revolutionized the guy that was, the game for the guy that was wanting to get into 3-gun. And then they introduced the 1-8 Strike Eagle, and I was severely disappointed in that. Yeah, that's what you have.
Yep.
But I was severely disappointed in how milky or cloudy it was when you got above about 6.5 power. It was like, you might as well just have a 1-6, because I'm not going to say it's not usable, but it wasn't. It's almost like these Burris. I hate to say it, but these Burris, these XTR2s, which is an older optic, but it's typically going to be that Philippine glass, not real high quality. Glass for me is a huge thing, and the more time you spend on a gun behind glass, that should be, I guess, a priority. You also need to see, once again with the glass, low light transmission, light transmission. Just because a lot of the stuff that I've done before has been in low light, now you've got different options for that as far as night vision and thermals. But I'd say the key thing for me to answer the question is going to be glass. Then it's going to be reticle options, whether they offer it in first, second focal, mil or MOA, and how well or how I don't like really mushy clicks. If it's one of those where I'm turning from 1.2 mils to 1.4, I won't feel a tactile click. Mushy clunk. What about you, Ken?
I guess I really don't have, to be honest, much experience with a lot of high-end optics. I do have a few, but I mostly use a lot of mid-range, and a lot of it is because I'm actually just kind of training myself. I'm still young. I'm able to see pretty good. What I really look for in a scope is for the tracking and repeatability and the parallax. And again, same thing, I guess, with the clarity. Yep. As long as it's not like chromium or you see any kind of weirdness going on where you can't really make out the target clear enough, I'd write that off as well. Now,
yeah,
as many folks know, my channel, I really started out as a budget-minded kind of person to kind of get into this long-range sport and kind of entice people to take whatever they have and still enjoy it. So I'm still kind of playing around with what works and versus the money-wise, but definitely a high-end optic, $1,000. You can get a really good optic with that.
Actually, Kenny, you've done a great job on your channel being able to do that.
I appreciate it.
Utilizing
Yeah,
normal,
absolutely.
normal stuff that most people have.
Yeah, I mostly rock an SWFA. I have 2 of those scopes, and I really swear by them. A lot of folks that do a lot of long range shooting have that scope as a backup, so it kind of tells you that that scope is reliable.
Yeah. Now that being said, and this is not directed at you, Ken. Don't take it that way. I'm going to use Rick as an example. You know, a lot of people. Okay, so Rick did not know what he did not know. So back in the day, his scopes he thought were good enough, and they were good enough to do what he needed to do marginally. Okay, we're talking about too low end of scopes. Once Rick finally made the decision, and I don't want to speak too much for him, but I think he's going to agree on all these statements. Once he actually started spending some time behind like higher end scopes, like, and I don't mean Nightforce or Schmidt or anything like that or Collis. We're talking about like Vortex Razor HD, which is a high end scope. Now he is, I'm not going to say an optics snob or a scope snob, but now because his whole attention has been changed in training with that Razor HD, he can look behind a $1,200–1,300 Burris XTR and say, this is crap. What's going on here? And remember, he didn't come from that. It's just that's how much your body, and going to a store, guys, and picking up that Leupold Mark V or that Nightforce, ATAC R, that doesn't tell the story. You have to work behind the glass to understand all the differences in how you're seeing that mirage, how well your focus is, how fine, how easy it is to focus that reticle. But Rick has a much better understanding now since he's gotten higher into optics. Would that be true?
Oh, for sure. I'll tell you, when I jumped behind the Burris that we put on here for a little while, no, it was very milky, and it was the only time it really performed decent was when there was a lot of light. When we went to VOD and it was open and bright, because usually if we're at Rays, it's kind of this, you're in this canyon where it's really shaded and hard to see. Not so much hard to see, but a lot less light per se. And that's when it finally shined. It was like, oh, I can actually see out of this thing decent. But it does not.
Now, I don't want anybody getting mad at us. I'm not bad-mouthing Burris. I'm very, very appreciative that they donated this to the prize table. But once again, you don't know what you don't know. That Burris to probably 90% of the people looks astounding. I mean, it looks great until you start working behind the higher-end scopes and spend a lot of time behind them.
Yeah. I mean, I think you nailed a lot of good topics on the head right there. I think there's some folks out there that get into this sport and they buy all this high-end stuff, but then they don't know how to use it, how to use the parallax correctly, how to set up that diopter. There's a lot of things that folks that do have money or do have that fortunate to buy that high-end stuff, they use those scopes for at half the capability. So I guess coming from humble beginnings and coming from optics that are a little lower, but then working up, like you're saying, you're utilizing, you're knowing how to use that scope, but then you're actually seeing the differences and what it's capable of doing. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Kenny. You are spot on that. There's a lot of people that have more disposable income, and they'll buy the higher end stuff, and they don't have a clue how to use them. And it's one of the reasons why on my channel, your channel, it's trying to get people promote the sport and explain how all this stuff works. That's why I always try to make everything, somewhat instructional or informative based. Right. I really do.
Absolutely. Either way, you can enjoy this sport, long range, target shooting, low end budget or high end budget. But obviously, the guys that are competing in that competitive level, you're just going to have to get that kind of equipment. There's a reason for it. So,
yeah. There's another question that Yule said. He goes, is it the same for red dots? That it is for scopes or just the most rugged for the price? I've seen a lot of bad red dots. I'm going to leave a lot of the names out of them. A lot of people that watch my channel or some of my feeds, you'll know which ones I don't like. Typically, it's the ones that go down more often than others. The ones that I do like and some that I dislike in the same manufacturer would be Trijicons. I do like some of their dots. Their MRO is really good. But like the RMR, depending on the application, I might not care for it. Aimpoint is always good in my book, and EOTech is kind of hit or miss depending on the generation that you have. Holosuns, I've had zero bad experiences with them, and I have tested them for quite a while. Not to say they're all good. I don't know. I haven't had as much experience with those as I have the other ones, especially on red dots mounted on the rifles. But there are some I would completely avoid.
Yeah, a lot of them are on Amazon. I like the Holosuns. I also have a couple of Ultra Dots, and I really swear by the Ultra Dots, especially for the revolver guys. Those things are just awesome. They look very crisp in the sunlight. They handle recoil.
Yeah.
Ultra Dots or?
Hello from France.
Yeah.
Taipan. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but welcome to the chat. We got there was a question.
Oh, the Tenebrex, the kill flashes. DW. He says, do you have any experience using scope glass flash hiders, reflection hiders? Yes, I have a lot, and I hate them. Unless you are in combat, where you're not trying, or you're a sniper, not trying to give your location away, they cut out way too much light, in my opinion. They obscure your picture. Tenebrex is probably the most well-known company that does anti-reflection devices for optics, red dots, everything else. It's great to have them if you're going to find yourself in that situation, but for normal shooting, no. Ken?
Yeah, it's more of a sales gimmick. To me, it's a cool kind of market, but you're not going to use it. I don't see a reason to where you're ever going to use it. I mean, you never know. Crazy times could happen, but in reality, so far, I don't think it's going to be worth using one of those.
Chico wise, what's up, my friend?
I agree.
Yeah. Even in the military, I know my brother was in Green Beret, and I don't think he's ever used one of those either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have no experience with that. Well, we talked about drilling a hole in the cap, remember, yesterday, but that's more for what? Light? Keeping all the light into the sun?
You can do that. What they're talking about, guys, for those that might or might not know, I need something with a little bigger objective lens. Give me just a second. It's easier to do a visual.
Okay.
Scope flash can use old tights to do the same job. Yeah, anyway.
Now, like I said, unless you're doing this for work as a dedicated sniper, and I mean truly dedicated, where you cannot give your position away, yeah, that's going to stick out. So one of the things that a lot of guys will do, and you'll see this, is you can use tape, cardboard, whatever. You'll do a little cat eye like this, okay? You'll still be able to see full view. I see no blue tape by doing this. This will help with kind of concealing all of that reflective surface that's in there. At least it'll help a little bit. And so what he was talking about on the kill flash, basically the Tenebrex kill flashes, is it reduces the reflectivity, but it also, with the Tenebrex cover, reduces your light gathering ability. What Rick is talking about specifically is sometimes at the matches, you will see someone will take their flip-up scope cover and they will take their knife and they will bore a little hole in the dead center. And they'll just keep doing that until the hole gets a little bigger and bigger. Unfortunately, that is not to not give away your position in a match. That is because your scope, your sunshade is not long enough, and you are shooting in direct sunlight, and you're trying to make that exit pupil as small as possible so that you can physically see the target, because the target's here and the sun is right here. So Kenny is smiling because I'm sure he's done it or seen it.
Yeah.
If you've been there and you've had one of those kind of days, you'll do paper towel rolls, whatever the case is, but sometimes it's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, that hill that I shoot into in the afternoon, the sun's right there. So exactly
Yeah.
that. I'm always fighting glare.
I'm trying to catch up on some of these comments.
Hey, Andrew, check your mail.
Man, I'm hoping they'll open up the local ranges, man, because there's a steel shoot that I've been attending every weekend in the mornings. So that's why I loaded a bunch of 223, but it got canceled.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gigabyte. Yep. Like Gallon.
That last
Abigail's been looking at the SWFA SS 10 to 42 for a bit. You guys know anything about that?
Yeah, I have one of those, and I have a 16 power. The 10X is definitely a lot clearer. It's just not what it is it's not magnifying the what do you call it, the impurities of the glass. So of course, if you go up to like a 20X, you're going to see the impurities. It's still pretty good glass, to be honest. And the biggest thing about that SWFA is the parallax is spot on. You can get right on target, and that parallax is, you can dial that in where it doesn't move. 10X, you can hit, shoot. If you got good eyesight, you can get out to a mile with a 10X. You really can. It doesn't seem like it's very small, but you're able to see that target, not bad at all.
Yeah, I agree. I always say power is not everything, and I'm not, maybe a gun guy or something. I think you maybe asked him in here, but maybe he would know better. But my understanding, and Ken, you add to this as well. So basically, in Europe, you have shot glass, correct, for scopes. And that would be mostly European glass.
Yeah.
And then in Japan, you're going to have, what is it, Light Optics Corporation or something like that?
Yeah, that's
okay. So, and they do a huge. That facility will do Vortex. It might do primary R. It's all coming out of the exact same facility. And then there's another glass facility in the Philippines, correct? And I don't know the name of that one.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, man, I tip my tongue too.
Yeah, and so like that one in the Philippines, I'm covering up this scope on what this is, but this tube and turret and erector system and all that is shared between like 30 different scope manufacturers. Okay.
Okay.
So, are you aware of any other large glass companies or scope manufacturers other than those three: the Philippines, Japan, and European shot glass?
Yeah, the Shotsky. That's the only ones I know of. I know there's one more.
Yeah, I thought so too. That's what I'm kind of asking. That's right. Wait, we got Andrew on here. Maybe he knows.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Oh, long day, long day.
I know what you mean.
This working for a living business is just, it's for the birds. What can I tell you?
At least you're working.
And very true, very true. It's I work in Bethesda, Maryland, and generally speaking, it's a pretty busy place. You got the naval activity up there, the Walter Reed now. It's a very, very, very busy little place where I work, and it's an absolute ghost town. It's the creepiest thing. It's like life after people. So it's just weirdest thing. So you guys were talking about glass, and I had to cut off my mobile device so I could get on my computer. What'd I miss?
Basically, of all the glass manufacturers, you've got the German shot facility or European, and then you've got the Japanese facilities like Light Optics, and then you got the Philippine. Is there a fourth one, or is the majority of all scopes come from one of those three places.
Zeiss, Schott, Pentax makes a lot of lenses.
Okay, now Pentax would be out of Japan, though, right?
Yes.
Yep. And then
there's Romanian glass too.
correct. That would be your Mioptas and all that, right?
Miopta, Valdata.
That's it. IR.
Yeah,
All right.
great stuff.
Yeah.
Very
So
top
the
of the
whole
line.
point of this, where I was going with it, is there might be 500 different scope manufacturers, but it's kind of like the forgers for your ARs. There's
Right.
only a handful, okay? And someone actually hit on the topic up here. It comes down to the polishing of the glass, the quality of the glass, the light transmission, but then also the biggest portion is the QC afterwards. How much extra QC are they doing than just somebody that's like, all right, throw this one together and it's good to go and it's out the door. The big thing is that I've noticed is in the last 5 years there are scope companies coming out of the woodworks, and I think it's basically just rebranding of the exact same product. Okay, now I'm going to speak authoritatively on this because I do know a little bit about this subject. The U.S. Optics started out in California. I used a lot of their optics in the past. When you could call up there and you could actually DW. Okay, hold on. Primary arms is it depends on the model, but we'll get into that in a minute. But on U.S. Optics, you used to be able to call up there and actually talk to the owner. U.S. Optics had some really, really good glass, some really good scopes. My understanding, and I'm almost 100% sure on this, they were bought out about a couple years ago, and the company is now in Hickory, North Carolina. It is all part of the Zero Delta Group. It's the same company that does the mounts as well as the Zero Delta pistols. Now, that being said, the B series scopes are still made in the USA. It's great quality stuff, but they also now have Philippine glass in some of their scopes. I have had a chance to shoot them and play with them, so just know which one you're getting. When you look through it, it'll be quite evident.
Yeah, the TS20.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell when you look down through that scope, even though you are getting the customer service. But like you said, if you got taken over or remanaged, then is that customer service still there? I haven't really dealt with U.S. Optics.
My understanding is they have really stuck with the whole customer service and fixing any issues. I actually won. I have a certificate that I haven't redeemed for a brand new U.S. Optics. It's kind of crazy, but I met the guys over at U.S. Optics, and I was invited to go tour their facility, which I still plan on taking them up on that, but because it's really close. And so I would like to get more information. And I'm not bad mouthing them. I'm just saying the same company has two different lines of optics. You got a higher and lower end. It's kind of like Vortex. Vortex has multitudes of different levels, just like Night Force. You got your SHV, but they're at the upper echelon. It would be like, okay, well, you're getting a Mercedes, but you're going to get this one instead of the AMG,
Yeah.
Different tiers.
Yeah, that's just hitting the price point in the market for folks, all price points.
Yeah, but all of us are old enough to remember that 10 years ago, getting a first focal plane scope was insane. And now it's like, what? It's the same price as a second focal? It's
Right.
Well, what do you mean I can buy a first focal plane scope with a lifetime warranty on it for $350?
Exactly. That was unheard of 10 years ago. It's like, oh man, that's going to be $1,800, and that's for their low end.
Yeah, the Schmidt and Bender with the training wheels on it was.
That's right.
That was like 3,800 doll hairs back in the early 90s.
Yes.
And that was a 10 power. That's it.
It's all you need. 10 power.
Hey.
That's what you always hear.
Yeah.
I thought I heard somebody talking about SWFA, the super snipers, the 10 power before.
That would have been Kim.
Penny, yeah. That's a great piece of glass for the money. That is one of the best pieces of glass on the market.
Now, isn't
stop.
SWFA, doesn't that glass for that scope for the Super Sniper come out of the Japanese facility?
Okay, don't hold me to it. Back a long time ago, we got a bunch of them in, and we were putting them on everything.
Yep.
And rumor was they were originally manufactured for a Navy contract because they had an NSN number on them for a long time, if I'm not
wasn't that a
mistaken.
part of Tasco?
Yes, it was
Yes.
Tasco. Super Sniper was from Tasco.
Yep.
And
Don't laugh. When it came out, Rick, it was unheard of. Everybody was like, dude, you have got to check one of these out.
And
it's
you
a
know what?
Tasco. I don't care what it is. Check it out.
And you know what? The same still applies today. I mean, if you're looking for a scope in that 400, what are they now? I haven't even, I've overlooked them. Were they $450?
You can get them on sale like in Black Friday for like $289 with like free scope rings and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're a fantastic piece of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to follow up on DW's question about primary arms, I'm not going to lie to you. 2 years ago, I had never even heard of primary arms. And KB32 kind of put me on to him and was like, you got to try this. You got to try that. I was like, oh, man, I'm not messing with that. And I'm not too much of a snob, but no. Okay, now I'm going to answer the question. DW says primary arms, China. This scope right here, this primary arms, this is part of their silver line. On the bottom, it says made in China. However, and this one's attached to a rifle, so I can't grab it. The primary arms platinum, those are made in Japan, right? Let me see. If y'all don't see it, I'm good. Made in Japan. And it is the exact same building that the Vortex Razor HDs come out of. And Rick will tell you, after playing with this scope, you almost can't tell them apart. I will tell you that I've got a box that this thing comes in, and the packaging is so similar. it is crazy.
Yeah. Well, show me.
Rick has seen it. He knows what I'm talking about.
Look,
I can't say anything bad about that primary arms platinum. Now their GLX line, the gold, I don't know where that comes from. Hold on, I'll grab this one.
You got that box? So there's this box, which looks just like.
So he's got his box. This is that one that comes out. It's almost the identical same size. When you open it up, the packaging and everything, the foam is almost identical. Yep.
Hey, let me.
And I'll tell you a step further. On the primary arms platinum, it is individually inspected for every single thing that you see here. Look, I'm not trying to sell primary arms, okay? I'm just telling you my experience with it. Even though I'm an affiliate with all this stuff, you have never seen a link for me in primary arms or doing this and all that. That's not why I started the channel. But I've had over 2 months to be really rough on that scope. Rick, how many rifles has that thing been on?
At least 9.
Wow.
At least, and I mean, it tracks perfectly. So I can't say anything bad about it. I really can't.
Can I raise
the one made in China?
No.
When you move the eyepiece here on the back, the ocular, your reticle actually moves up and down.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I raise one thing?
Yes, sir.
Did anybody notice? Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I try to keep an eye on the market. Did anybody notice that Nikon may have gotten out of the business of making their own scopes? And is it possible in Japan that Nikon is making for everybody else?
You know, I don't know. Someone told me that they were getting out of the scope business completely.
Right. That's correct. Maybe they're just getting out of their own label and they're private labeling for other people because they certainly do know how to make optics.
Yeah,
just a thought.
they do. Yeah.
Hey, you guys, Levi he said it a couple times now. There is a glass company in Australia. You guys familiar with that one at all, or no?
Glass company in Australia.
Not familiar.
All right.
You know what's really funny is I'm actually in the glass business, so
I figured you would know. That's why I was like, I think we have Andrew coming on here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We do a lot of business with a certain German company. We buy a lot of crystal from them. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have been to that facility. Do you visit there often?
No, I have not been to that facility. No, I have not. Our facility is in
They
Southern
have an
Virginia.
unbelievable. They have an unbelievable facility that has this underground museum, and it's crazy looking. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about, but it's got this huge water fountain with this big head. It looks like Kilroy was here, and his mouth has a waterfall coming out of it. And you go into the ground. It is in Austria, and it is something to behold.
You should see our ballistics lab.
Be right back.
Yep. I was going to ask you
Oh,
guys.
I bet.
It's in Israel.
Sorry, Ray.
Yeah, Mark T did confirm. SWFA glass is from Japan. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's probably Pentax glass. Wouldn't surprise me if it was Pentax glass. Pentax used to make fantastic rifle scopes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. You know, you look back at all these companies and nobody really built an outhouse. I mean, the Pentaxes, the Nikons, SWFA, they were great companies. Tasco was even a great company at one time. They just lost vision, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Vortex is just killing it.
Okay, you've hit on a really, really good topic. And this one hits kind of close to home for me. So talking about the Nikons and the Pentax and everything else, this has also been a problem with a lot of European companies when it comes to scopes, is you get comfortable being who you are. And the market will leave you as the market changes if you don't change your game plan. Okay? Just continuing to produce the exact same product over and over and over again, yeah, you will get left behind. Then all of a sudden you're trying to play catch up. And somebody's watching, it's just my opinion, so it doesn't matter, I don't care. But okay, so Zeiss, Zeiss is a really great company, but then they were like, we got to get some of this market share. Let's come out with this less expensive, what was it, Conquest line, hunting line, but it still kind of missed the mark. Schmidt and Benders never really they didn't care. Kind of like your H&Ks. It's like we're not gonna come up with an entry line. We've got good product. But then you've got your higher end companies like Swarovski, Kahles, which are the same now, and even Leica, and they realized if we don't do something and get into this PRS, this long range shooting game, we will get left behind. So Kahles, hit on by a storm. They went after 3-gun. They make a 3-gun optic. They make long range optics. You'll see Kahles at every PRS match, every sniper match, every ruck match. Well, Leica has finally caught on board. They finally developed the PRS scope. I did a lot of beta testing with Leica. I'm really good friends with those guys. I love their products. But they did come out with a new PRS scope this year. There are some things that are a little quirky about it. You guys will see it here soon if you haven't already seen one. But you have to constantly evolve, and I think a lot of these companies just didn't. And that's what you said. They didn't build an outhouse.
Well, listen, look at Steiner.
Yeah, there
look
you
at
go.
Steiner. What is saving Steiner's bacon? I think the P4XI, that simple little $600 scope that they make, happens to be one of the best in class scopes for low power variable. And I think that's saving their bacon. I really do. I don't think they're selling anything else.
They did start addressing the market. Remember when they came out with the M5 a few years ago? That was kind of out of the normal for Steiner. And they screwed up initially because their reticle options were not really the best. But they started kind of picking it up from there. And that's when you started seeing the low power variable optic. You start seeing more of their laser range finding binos, which they were doing, I guess, for the military. You're seeing those at more matches. They're evolving. You can't rest on your laurels. You can only do that for so long.
You either adapt or you die.
That's right.
It just is the way it is. I mean, If you sit there and you like, look, I do business development marketing. We work a lot of project management and stuff like this. But the biggest point that we try to make to companies that we're working with is, if you try to tell the market what the market wants, you are going to fail every single time. If you do not listen to the market and build to the requirements of the market, you are going to fail. And some of these
Yes.
companies like Vortex, and especially Vortex, I don't know what they've done. They've really got something. They really
Yeah.
listened. And some of their stuff is really, really, really super great, but everything is sort of okay-ish.
See you,
Right?
Taipon.
What's that?
No, Taipon was saying he has to go to bed. He's in France. And so I was like, see you,
Oh.
Taipon.
Good night. Good night. You know, they've really captured the market, and they've got every price point covered with something that's livable.
Yes. And, 2 years ago, they had the #1 scope in PRS with the Razor HD. And, that got unseated they got unseated by Night Force when Night Force said, hey, let's do the 7-35. And I think for 2 years now, that's been the one with the Tremor 3 reticle. And then, of course, Vortex does now offer the Tremor 3. I guess they're paying royalties to Horus or Night Force that owns Horus now. So, yeah, it is really cool to see how much has progressed in this sport.
Right.
It's amazing you can spend $500 and get something back in the day that would have cost you almost $4,000.
Oh, yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah,
God, we're old, right?
we are.
Not yet.
Not
Jeez, I
Kenny.
even-
Kenny's
even-
not there yet. Kenny,
Not
you're
yet.
like in your 30s, right?
I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I can even remember when Remington 700s were a good gun. Ooh, sorry, everybody.
Hey, you know what? The PCR, though, if they're doing things right, if it's any indication of that last one that Sam's got, they're finally getting back on track. But you're absolutely right. That was the one.
Man,
If you know how
I've
to
had
loop them,
Remingtons. I've had Remingtons. You couldn't hit a barn if you were sitting inside of it with one. They were pretty bad. They've been
Yep.
pretty bad.
they're a good platform to build off of. That's for
Correct.
Yeah, as long as you rework the entire action and make sure
You gotta
everything
be-
is straight.
Build
Yeah,
a new
they
gun
gotta
out
be-
of it.
I just blueprinted 2 of them. One of them was 12 thousandths to run out, and the other one was 8. That's how bad they were.
Hey, when
Yeah.
you do this right here and send it in and not have to worry about shit, that's called a good investment.
Yeah,
Damn
Tika,
right.
Yep.
Tika, man. They got it on. I mean, they got the machine process dead on.
Tika.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Well, Tika.
Look at that.
You know, Tika is right on the money, and
that thing right
and
now.
Ray will probably attest to this. Back in the day, you couldn't touch a Seiko.
That's right.
They were some of the best rifles ever made.
The
with
TRGs,
Seiko.
man. And then, before then was the Steyr SSG 69, the P4s,
I have a
all of
P2.
those.
I have a
Yep.
P2 with a 24-inch barrel.
Yeah, I got a little P4 with a short. That's the 16.
They shoot
And
good.
I love the very first deer I ever killed was with an SSG 69, and it was at like 380 yards. It was insane. But the guy was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a hunting rifle."
Hey, I've got an SSG 69 P2 with double set triggers.
Yeah, I know it well.
Scary gun.
All the
That's a scary
SSGs had
rifle.
press fit barrels, though, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct. They are they freeze the barrels and they heat the action. And they stick them together, and that's it. That's
Yeah,
all she wrote. You want a new barrel? It's problematic. So
Gagabytes has a good question here, but it's a very open-ended one. It's tough.
it's very, very open ended. You could go so many different ways. The
Yeah.
thing you would want to know is how much do you want to spend?
Yeah.
buy once, cry once, right, Ray?
That's right.
Because right here is a good option, but it depends on how much money you want to spend.
Right.
I actually recommended one of those to a gentleman today. He wanted a do-all rifle. And what I mean by that, he wants to be able to deer hunt with it. He wants to be able to shoot a competition-style match, like a ruck match, still have sub-MOA accuracy and not break the bank. And I was like, you might want to look at that Tika. I think for less than $2,000 with all that it offers, I've never seen one shoot poorly. I think it's tough to beat for the weight. It only weighs 10 pounds. You know, throw some glass on there, you're looking at 13 pounds, maybe 14 with your bipod. That's 5 pounds less, or actually, that's about 8 pounds less than my AI.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't we looked that up yesterday? Is it a local person, right?
Yes, and I think that's actually what he's going to go with.
If he wants, he can shoot it.
Okay, that might happen.
If I like him, do I know him? I'm just kidding.
We'll talk later.
I've actually sold recently 3 Mossberg MVP LRs, the ones with the chassis.
Yeah,
And for some reason, those ones are shooting phenomenal as well.
yeah, I've heard that.
And they're sub $1,000. And some of them come with a Nikon scope.
I win the lottery. I'm coming to America.
That's the last of the Nikons.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, for that around $1,000 price point, the Tika T3X CTR.
The CTR, yeah.
The CTR with the more traditional stock, they sell that in a 24-inch stainless barrel, threaded 5/8 24 in 6.5 Creedmoor. That's where I would head, and I think you can find those on the rack. I think they're about $990.
I have a couple in mind for that one. Ray has one of them for that question there.
I think Kenny should make rifles for us.
I don't
I
know.
want a Kenny rifle, man. I'm telling you what, he makes some badass shit.
Yeah, I just finished a 280 Remington, and it's shooting phenomenal. I've been using Douglas barrels, man. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Douglas barrels, but they're doing really good.
Yeah, I ran Douglas barrels for years. This was in early mid-90s.
All right.
280.
Kenny or Andrew, why don't you guys answer this one, and then we'll let Ray finish it up.
I was going to say the Desert Tech SR. I like the Desert Tech rifle. Thing's phenomenal.
If you could
I think
only
caliber
choose
too,
one.
guys. What caliber?
If you could only choose one rifle, what rifle would you pick for survival and long-range shooting or hunting? That's a really tough one.
You only get one. One opportunity.
I don't think one rifle fills the whole match, but
No.
Give me a Desert Tech at 50 cal and then one at 308. I'll be happy.
What about a Grendel? You got a gas gun that shoots phenomenal.
No. You wouldn't want a gas gun for survival. I wouldn't think. Long range shooting and hunting would probably be a bolt gun. Reliability, it's always going to run. Go with a Remington 700 action because there's a billion of them. No matter where you're at in the world, you're going to find a Remington 700. You know,
I guess if
I
you-
am
if
so
you
comfortable
stay
with a
on
16-inch
range-
barrel. I'd say go with a 16-inch Remington 700 and 308,
308.
and make sure that your twist can kind of handle both ends of the spectrum on bullet weight. That's probably it.
Well,
Yeah.
308's ubiquitous. I mean, there's ammunition everywhere for it.
Yes.
So, you know,
Yeah,
that's what you want. You want to stick with a military caliber.
that's right.
You'll always have ammo. But for a true survival rifle, you know, something, one gun that you can hunt and survive with and that kind of thing, 22
Shotgun.
long rifle.
Yeah.
Lots of ammo, real easy to shoot, and you can take pretty much any game animal with the right bullet placement. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, you can take about anything, human or four-legged.
Right.
You'll eat somebody alive with a semi-automatic 22.
Oh yeah, I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I
if
agree
you're
with the
going to
308.
ammo around, I don't know. I kind of disagree. I would go with the gas gun 223 or something where if it's for survival and you were getting your ass handed to you and you had 4 or 5 guys coming after you, I don't think I'd want a bolt gun. And they knew where
If you get 4 or 5 guys coming after you, you can pick them off with a bolt gun before they ever come to you.
That's if you're hidden and already on the top of some good spot somewhere.
That's what your pistol's for. That's for
Claymores.
200
dude.
yards and in.
Claymore.
Claymores.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. Give me a grease gun. I'd go to town on the.
Yeah.
No, Comms Preppa. Hey, Comms. There's your. Oh, I'm trying to turn that camera that's not there. There's your flag, amigo.
Nice. Yeah.
Comms.
That 200 grain projectile, the 308 is really opened the cartridge up. I've actually tested this compared to my Creedmoor, and out to 1,500 yards, my build is exactly the same. With the 200 grain projectile.
So, Kenny, you and I have not met or spoken, but you're building a 280.
Yes.
Are you going to go Ackley improved with it, or are you going to just leave it as is?
I left it as is. It's actually for a client, and for what he wants to do, it's going to supersede that.
That's a much overlooked caliber cartridge. It is. I'm a big fan of kind of the oddballs. The 257 Roberts and the 6.5 Sweet are my favorites, and the 280 is way up there too. So
Awesome.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just not like you're saying, not really talked about cartridge. I don't think it was marketed right. It would have took off if it was marketed correctly.
We talked about this yesterday at Ray's house.
Right.
The 270.
Oh yeah, that's what I hunt with. That's my preferred hunting rifle is a 270.
Yeah.
No, we talked about the 260, Rick.
260? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I tried
Jacko.
a 7 Psalm as well. I got a 7 Psalm that I've been playing with.
Well, 270. Anybody want to talk about a 270? I'd be happy to. I'll give my take on it. I can make a 270 do anything a 7mm Magnum will do, but better.
Nice.
If hand loaded properly and use the right bullet, you're going to get a much better gun. Nice flat shooting, and don't be. Everybody says a 270 doesn't really kick. I've got news for you. That gun comes back really fast. It's not hard, but it's quick. It's like Usain Bolt coming off when you touch that trigger. Usain Bolt's coming at your eye, so you got to be a little bit careful with them. But it's a fantastic cartridge. I've shot plenty of elk and deer with that gun, and I've never had a problem with the right bullet. You can make it do anything. That gun had a 130 grain Barnes X bullet out of a 270 to right around 3,000 feet a second. That's a ferocious thing. I've got a bunch of that. I really enjoy that bullet, but it's a hunting gun, right? So, yeah. And with a 130 grain nozzle or ballistic tip, you can make it do some pretty amazing things. 2,900 feet a second. It's quite the killing machine on deer-sized critters and coyotes.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a lot of game bullet for it. I wish you had a little bit more long range stuff in that caliber, but with that the new Fury cartridge coming out, you might see something like that. You want to take on that, or
you broke up a little bit. Are you talking about the new 6.8 military cartridge that everyone's playing with?
The one that Stick Sauer's playing with.
The Fury.
Yeah, the Fury. I was saying the 270 is an awesome cartridge that has just all these bullets for hunting. I wish you had a little more long range stuff. Obviously you have the nozzle lucky bonds and all that, but no ELDs or any of that. So probably when the Fury comes out, we might see some 277 caliber bullets for long range. And the reason why I say that is I've been playing around with the 277 Wolverine. It's an AR-based cartridge. Yeah, 300 blackout kind of.
It's called a Wolverine.
Yeah, 277 Wolverine. It's like the split between the 6.8 FPC and 300 blackout.
Yeah, it looks like a blackout kind of.
Yeah.
A little taller. It looks like.
That should be kind of fun, right?
Yeah, it's really cool because you can have a little compact AR, 8-inch AR that shoots out to 1,000 yards. So.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Human Skrilla. What's up?
Ray knows I've got a little bit of experience. We've talked before about the development of the 6.8 military cartridge for the new NGSR and NGSAR and the NGSW program. There's a lot of work being done on the 270 right now, the 6.8 millimeter. There's a lot of work being done, a lot of bullet development being done, both by industry and at Picatinny Arsenal. So there's a gap in the market, right?
Right.
So people are trying to fill it, and they're going to have to fill it with a match bullet sooner or later, probably much sooner than later. But the object of the game with the military cartridge, at least, is not necessarily a match accurate cartridge. That is they want match accuracy. That's the objective requirement, right? But the real objective requirement is penetration of X threat. So that's really what they're working on. So it could be interesting. It's definitely a cool cartridge. Should work really well.
Does weight have anything when it comes to weight and a certain amount of rounds you need to carry?
Yeah, that's one of the threshold requirements. Is 100 rounds must weigh X, or no more than X. But the objective requirement is we really want it to weigh less than Y, which is the pie in the sky idea. The objective requirements. I don't know them off the top of my head.
Before.
Yeah, it's all about weight with the ammunition.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to jump off of here, and it's a shame because there is a wealth of knowledge on this board right now. I don't know if people realize, I mean, how much information you guys are bringing to the table, but I got to go. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, Rick.
Adios,
Kenny, Andrew, we'll talk to you guys later.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah. Conservative Sniper Hunter showed up. Thanks for showing up.
Nice.
Agrees with Kenny. I'm surprised that there isn't any bullet manufacturers that make any long, sleek max grade bullets for long range. Same for 257.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like what Andrew said, there's going to be that void filled pretty soon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skeptic about that 60,000 psi cartridge Fury, how long it's going to last in a barrel, and there's nothing coming out about barrel life.
Well, Kenny, I work for a company. I was on the development team. I was the business lead for the development team. We were participating in the NGSW, the PPON, the first one that came out. We manufactured alternative case technology. So we were loading some of the ammunition, the initial rounds of it, for one of the gun primes, shall remain nameless under NDA. And we were running anywhere between 85 and 95 KSI.
Wow.
Barrel life isn't going to be great. But to meet the length requirements, the weight requirements of the weapon, and the velocity requirement for the weight of the bullet, it's a 130 grain bullet at over 3,000 feet a second, and you've got an overall length requirement to make. So that necessitates either a bullpup design or a really short barrel, or you're going to lose points in the evaluation. You got to run those up.
Right.
There's just no other way to go with it, and a lot of people are having a really hard time with it.
Yeah, I bet. Well, there's some crazy stuff coming out. Like I saw this at SHOT Show, which that's a real bullet.
Yeah, I know the guys. I know Chris Tedford quite well.
Yeah. Okay. So shooting that out there, I was actually pretty surprised how accurate it was. He actually had a target cam, and it placed a sub 5-inch group at 1,000 yards with a F-class rifle.
Well, when you're talking about the polymer case technology, we've talked about it before. We talked about it off camera. Remember, Rick, when we were talking after the fact. When you're talking about the polymer case technology that True Velocity, MAC, or any of the other companies have, what is the objective of reloading and making ammunition? It's consistency, right?
Right. That's what.
Always consistency. And when you're molding the cases and you can control the numbers and you're using advanced manufacturing processes, your neck tensions are the same and your bullet pull is the same, blah, 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 blah. You're controlling all your numbers up front.
Right.
Theoretically, a polymer case round of ammunition is always going to be the most potentially accurate round of ammunition possible.
Right.
There's no variables.
Exactly. Talking to I believe he was the owner, or one of the owners there. He said that you could actually make it to match your chamber. I said, man, that's awesome. They don't offer that service yet, but that technology is there. It will be offered, but he's telling me.
Well, the technology is definitely there. You know, they can laser scan a chamber and they can get those dimensions, and it's insane where we've gone and where we've been and where we're coming. Theoretically, the polymer ammunition, like the True Velocities of the world, once they're doing a massive scale of reloading and they get the processes down a little bit more, they've got a little ways to go. They're kind of young, but theoretically, that could be the cheapest way to go. It's the cleanest way to manufacture, requires the least amount of footprint and overhead. You don't need the big raw material supply anymore. It's really a cool thing. I just hope they can make it work and hold on.
Right,
Have you got this stuff, Andrew? The M855A1?
I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah, this stuff was cool. We did some testing with it.
Saw that.
What's crazy is it hits the steel and turns gold.
Yeah.
I was like, that's freaking awesome.
Because it plates the steel with the substrate that the core and tip are made out of. It forms a molecular bond. There's so much heat and pressure there. It
was pretty cool to try out.
Well, that's nasty shit.
Yeah,
that's really nasty shit.
It'll go through get some.
Well, not only that, it was designed to penetrate light-skinned vehicles and windshields and you know, those moderately hard targets. And usually bullets that act like that don't act really in a conducive way to stopping a man-sized threat. They just pencil right through. They don't cause a lot of damage. That little bastard, that's not the case.
Oh,
that is very disruptive to human flesh. That's really bad. Well, it was designed for a reason. We were having trouble in Afghanistan. The M855s weren't working really well against the bad guys. So they came back and they went back to the drawing board and they came up with that.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool round. What's up, Bryson?
Yeah. I was going to answer Gates reloading.
Yeah, if you could answer that, I had it up, but then.
Yeah, that's an actual 3D printed bullet feeder that I made. It's not the double alpha, but it's very similar to it. And I'm selling the actual dies, the bullet dropping dies, on my website. I don't mean to advertise on your channel, but just letting folks know.
You're selling that?
Yeah, on the website. These are completely 3D printed. It's very simple how it works, but it drops a bullet on top of your cartridge. It's very easy. Makes your progressive reloading a lot easier. So I can't sell these because these are actually patent pended by Double Alpha.
Yeah. Or you could just get that blue thing over there I got right here.
Yeah, I can get that blue thing. Or I could give them away, which I got a couple being made right now.
Will it fit on my blue thing?
Oh yeah, it'll fit on anything. Yeah, it's funny. This actually works for the Double Alpha. I mean, it's the same dimensions basically.
I tell you what, loading this Plinkster running around 223, man, my fingers just freaking get gnarled from.
Exactly.
It drives me nuts.
That's why I made this. It's just really easy. A small little funnel. You just throw the bullet on top. Just throw it right in there.
Yeah.
And it makes it like just really easy to load, progressive. Because I've knocked out 1,000 rounds in I think a couple hours. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, throw it right in there and it orientates. It's
cool.
awesome. I like it.
Yeah, it's way better than holding that bullet every damn time.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't handle it.
Oh. UL Adamas is like, Kenny, would you try UV 3D printed poly cases?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I'm using my 3D printer mostly as a prototyper. That way I could get it machined in metal. So I do have a precision tool and die maker that I used to work for. It's actually my uncle's shop.
Very
and
cool.
I'm going to make a lot of things in metal, including bolt actions. That's coming soon. So.
Well, we prototyped a lot of things where I used to work. We prototyped a lot with SLM, selective laser melting. We had an SLM machine, and we had a number of different additive technologies. And UL, just for your knowledge, a lot of the new technology is metal injection molded casings.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we were working on, and they work. They work really well when you can hit that sweet spot. They work really well, but 3D printed? Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Someday.
Not yet.
Coming soon. Mark 7 Evolution. Anyone?
Yeah, that's a $10,000 press, and then I'm not paying that ITAR tag every year. Screw that. That's $2,000. You could buy a couple suppressors with that.
Yeah. That's if they ever show up.
Right. I just put in for my SLT3, so I'll be able to at least try out some stuff.
That's cool, man. Yeah, especially with all the tooling stuff you got. You can have some fun.
Yeah, and I finally got the county to let me have a 3-phase, but it's going to be in my other lot. So I'm building a house back there just for this business, pretty much. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, instead of me dumping money on a steel structure building and trying to go through the whole headache of the county of allowing it, the transformer back there is not being used, so they're saying I could do 3-phase off that transformer.
That's cool. Keep hitting it hard, man. You're doing a good job.
I appreciate it, man. And you guys really inspired me, really helped me out as well. So, just really, I can't wait to fire up that wire EDM, start making all kinds of cool stuff with that thing.
Wire EDM is a really wild technology. That is really cool stuff. It's neat, really neat stuff.
Yeah, I have a sinker and I have a wire also that's been kind of handed down to me from my dad.
Very cool.
Make all kinds of cool stuff.
That's what it's about, right? Making cool stuff.
Yeah,
don't be making stupid shit. That's all I gotta say. You're wasting time and material. Make cool.
You know what's funny? I was heavily influenced in airsofting back in the day when I was actually programming and CADing software. I used to make a bunch of airsoft parts, but now we're making gun parts out of it. So
yeah,
kind of ironic, you know.
Brought it up a notch.
Right.
The trick is to take cool stuff that you want to build and turning it into green stuff that you can put in your bank account.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Well, like my uncle used to say, yeah, these may be cool, but they are for selling.
There you go. Good point. Good point.
That was the entire point of the Desert Eagle. It's like, why? Because these are for selling.
That's right. Shit, a lot of people bought them. They loved them. I know a few guys that have one. I think Bald and Curious still has his out there, and I know a couple other people that have one.
Somebody asked me, what branch did I serve in? And the answer is I was unfortunately not able to serve in the military. My eyesight disqualified me. I was a firefighter for many, many, many years and a medic.
That's still an awesome service, man. Thank you.
Composite barrels. I know the proof ones are badass, but
yeah, I played with a few. I've actually played with a titanium action with a composite barrel. It felt gritty, but it shot phenomenal.
Yeah.
Actually, let me be right back. I got to go do a transaction real quick. Fire transaction.
Nice. Sell it up, sucker. See, he's making the greenbacks right now so he can build that shop in the back.
Not quarantined, running his own business. Good for you.
That's it, man. He's at the house making stuff to sell.
Hey, listen. I think that's going to be the wave of the future. This has taught people a big lesson. You better have a side hustle.
Yeah. I tell you what, when you think everything's normal and then all of a sudden it isn't, it's different. It's definitely different. You're kind of going, oh shit. Now what do I do?
Well, I work with a bunch of very interesting people with a lot of insight into different things. And there's one guy I work with. I've been friends with the guy for forever and ever and ever. And, you know, you look at the kid and you talk to him and he's a great guy, really smart engineering type. And he's got a very different view of the world, Rick. And you think that he's the largest and biggest conspiracy theorist you've ever met in your entire life. And he was always taught, and he was in the military and he did some interesting things, whatever. But he was like, it's going to be a biological weapon that's going to take this country and bring it to its knees. And he said that to me about 7 years ago. And at work, when this whole thing started, he looked at me and goes, "See, I told you." And I'm like, oh, he
Yeah.
was right. He was right.
Yeah, it's tough. When I started YouTube, I don't know, 8 years ago, it was kind of a prepper channel / gun shooting stuff. And,
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was like, people were like, what? Why would you like store like extra food and shit, and it's like, ta-da, and I lived in California at the time, so I always blamed it on earthquakes and everything, which we could,
Right.
We get them quite a bit, but they're just been
Right.
small lately. But you never know. And now you got all these crazy people, see, there's me telling people they're crazy, but all the people that didn't want to prepare, are starting to buy crap that they normally would have never bought, which is kind of some dumb items. But anyways.
Well, the joke that we have around the house here is you always used to sit and laugh at preppers and homeschoolers, right? Now you are a prepper and a homeschooler. How do you like them apples?
Yeah, my kids are, they're like, this is weird, they're not used to it. So it's definitely different for them. They like it on one aspect and then they hate it on another. But I think
bald and curious, you're exactly right. But, one thing is related to another. So it's a bad deal all the way around.
It's not a biological weapon. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. TV, I don't know exactly all the stuff he sells. I do know he has a site that he sells scopes and scope mounts, and then he has some different things as well. And he's working on a camera right now for long range shooting. But I don't really know everything he sells, but that's some of the stuff he does, TV. I sent you a video last night on a live chat by Impact Dynamics interviewing an Aussie bullet manufacturer, Steve Hurt, and the Outer Edge projectiles. These bullets are very accurate. You did send me one on powder, Australian powder. Basically, Australia is one of the largest places to get gunpowder, and then they sell it to Hodgdon and so on. And like their Hodgdon's 4350 is an Australian Defensive Industries. I can't remember what the number was, like 2264 or whatever. So I've never seen the stuff on the shelves. I've never really looked for it either. But that was pretty interesting information. So thanks, Conservative Sniper.
Yeah, my buddy Steve Fantich works for General Dynamics, GDOTS, and they're in charge of the powder production. So a lot of the stuff is coming through General Dynamics too. It's made here, a lot of it.
Gates Jr., don't do that. Appreciate it. Just ask questions. Don't get all crazy and hit silly buttons that make you do silly things. Let's see. But I do appreciate it. Brian Marks. Hi, Rick. Are you thinking of building a custom bolt action rifle or upgrading your current Tikka? Right now, I am. Well, if you guys have seen it in the past, so I've been on YouTube for a while now, but I'd get a new pistol and I'd try it out and see if I liked it. And I've completely done 180 degrees. And now I shoot the things I have and I try to get better with them. So I did just get this, but this was to not have to spend as much money shooting this as that. So that's kind of a thing. But I've really been trying to just utilize with what I have and just get better with what I have than try to get something else. Hopefully that answers the question, but there is a lot of cool stuff I want out there, but I haven't done it yet. What I really want is a HUD, the Kestrel HUD for this, but one day I'll get that.
You learn how to dial the old-fashioned way first, right?
That's right. Yep.
It always goes back to pen and paper and math and gut instinct and then move on to the technology.
Yep. And I've been doing pretty good. I mean, I got what the hell is it?
Got your little book.
I did this the other day. You might have been on there.
No.
Basically trying to figure out distances by using, how many mils a certain thing is at a certain, whatever the width is, kind of deal. Having fun with that, but
yeah, I'm no good at that.
Yeah. And one of the comments was, use a laser rangefinder. Yes, that's the better way to go. But what if your laser rangefinder breaks down? Like, you need to know how to be able to go back to the basics, kind of like we were just talking about. So it's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, like my buddy, the Doomsday guy that I work with, he says his big thing is the biggest threat to this country is not a nuclear war, but it's an EMP, and all your electronics are going to be absolutely useless. So you better wind up learning how to use what you've got the way it is. So, think of it that way too. I mean, it's a little out there, but if you think about it, just stay with your basics. Learn the fundamentals first.
Do you ever use Shooter's World powders? No, I haven't either. I was just wondering, there was a question on there.
IMR, Hodgdon, and Alliant are really where I stay.
Okay. Yeah, Hodgdon's a big one for me. Vitavuri for 40 stuff. And for the most part, everything in here is IMR, Hodgdon, and Vitavuri.
I loaded, about, what was it? I loaded 120,000 rounds for some testing we did with Accurate 2230. Used a lot of Accurate 2230. And I had to rebuild the Dillon because of all that reloading.
Oh, really? Yeah, Bryson brings up a good point. If you have a stage where you're not allowed electronics, be able to go to that.
Yeah, that's
type of calculator.
Yeah.
I'd really be screwed though, because if I couldn't use the calculator portion of my electronics, I'd be shit out of luck. I'd just be shooting in the wind. Yeah, it's about I don't know, say 5 mils, and yeah, math's not my strong point. Let's see. I have a pound of Shooter's World Precision on the way, but haven't tried it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Armament and Axis. Clean Shot is like Tight Group, same specs, but a lot cleaner. Tight Group's pretty clean stuff. That might be nice. Tight Group is nice powder.
Really Tight Group's good, but it's dirty.
You can clean it up a little bit. You can clean it up
a little bit. Yeah,
No, there's some tricks you can use. You can clean it up a little bit too.
What's that?
Good tight crimp and a Magnum primer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because all my pistol stuff for 9mm, I use Tight Group. For 40, I use Vitavuri, the 320. I think that's what it's called. I haven't loaded any in so long now. Yeah, the N320.
I like to, with my pistol stuff, I use Power Pistol. I use a lot of Power Pistol. And believe it or not, I stay with Blue Dot. I use a ton of Blue Dot.
For pistol?
Yeah, absolutely. Best 9mm loads I've ever worked out were Blue Dot loads.
Were Fantastic. They smoky or no?
What's that?
Were they smoky?
Not a bit. Very clean. Very nice.
Yeah. That's cool. Let's see here. Bryson. Yeah, we've been giving Bryson busting him up because he hasn't got any videos, but your education is definitely more important, buddy. Very, very true.
Education is something nobody can ever take away from you.
That's right. I can feel a shot every now and then. I learned it from bow shooting. Yeah, that makes sense. Where did you find that ammo for your test? Is that something you can pick up on the interweb? This was actually not this stuff. And you see I had to cover the lot number because I don't know how exactly I got this, but
fell off the truck.
Yeah. But there is some of it on, I think, like Gunbroker or something, and it was stupid. They wanted some stupid god-awful prices for this shit. And I was like, wow, I can't believe people are paying that much for this stuff.
You don't even want to know what the military pays for that shit per round.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. So you can find it around. And it's check out M855A1. It's the M855A1 or the 855A1 if you depending on how you say it.
If you want to see something even, Rick, if you want to see something even a little bit more frightening, and you guys were comparing it to 7.62 round,
Yeah.
the M80A1.
Is that the 308 version of that stuff? Or
Yes.
762?
It's kind of the same idea. It's an improved M80 AP round.
Okay.
It is. Let's just put it to you this way: the military on contract, when they buy it a couple million rounds at a time, they pay $12 a round for it on contract.
Damn.
Yeah, it's $12 a round.
You mean that's what we pay for
Yes,
it?
that's right. We pay $12 a round for it to give it to our best and brightest in uniform to go out and wreck stuff with.
That's good.
It is devastating. I've seen the testing. It's just,
Yeah.
it works.
That's
Works
awesome.
really well.
I think our our men and women in uniform should have the best shit possible, and if it costs extra, screw it.
The cheapest fight you get in is the one you don't get in.
Right.
There you go. Oh, look, Kenny's back from selling shit.
Yeah, dude, I
Oh,
love
man,
it when
how
people
much
have
crack
their
you want, man?
CCW.
You want 12 pounds of crack? Yeah, man.
When people have their CCW out here, the paperwork, the 4473 is so much easier. It's notated
Oh,
down.
for sure.
Yeah, just verify it's up to date and good to go. Everybody's buying ARs, man. I sold is it 3 Delton tactical ARs right now. I sold another one right now.
Delton, I haven't heard that in a while.
I know. Well, they're the ones asking me for it. I'm like, all right, well, I could import it in, and this is what I charge plus the transfer fee. So, not bad.
That's cool.
Supply
So
and demand.
Supply and demand.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a neighbor that's completely liberal, and he came up to me and he's like, "I'm a liberal, but I need a shotgun. What can you sell me?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I had this dilemma for such a long time. Like, should I sell something to him? I mean, there's a reason why we're doing this. It's because of you, you know."
Yeah, no
Yeah.
shit.
The paperwork and crap. So,
Well,
The
like
best
I
thing-
always
Go
like
ahead.
I always say, there's no such thing as a liberal in a zombie apocalypse.
right. I sold him an Ithaca 20 gauge.
Yeah. Did you take the firing pin out of it?
Yeah, I should have, right?
Tell them,
Here's
to load
your
a six-
shotgun.
tell them it works better when you put a 16 gauge in front of it.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, the folks that are brand new gun handlers, I work with a lot of FFLs around here, so they offer classes, and I make them go to the class first if they really want to use me, buy a firearm because I'm close by. So they go to the class, they come back. Word of mouth comes around, and they tell me, yeah, they've been through the safety course and all that. So at least they know how to handle a firearm.
Delton's out of North Carolina? I've been hearing everything's out of North Carolina. That freaking rifle up there, the Ruger's out of North Carolina. I did not ever know that.
Yeah.
I even have a dog named Ruger. Ruger. Yeah, boys, I guess they're with their.
There you
He
go.
is. She is, or he is.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
That's
Where's
my
that
boy.
old Florida bearded fisherman hiding at? I don't know. I haven't seen him in a little while. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
Not even shotgun. But it was funny because all the people that basically wanted those waiting periods and all that stuff, they're the ones that have to deal with it right now. I love it. I freaking love it. They're like, "What? I can't just pick the damn thing up right now?" Like, no, you dumbass voted for this bullshit, so now you get to wait.
Well, it's even worse. I live in the People's Republic of Maryland, right? And if you do things properly and you got the right stuff, you can pretty much get along and do what you want. And I have the right paperwork and whatever. And all the gun shops had to pull the pistols out of the cases because in Maryland, you cannot over the counter a pistol. You have to have basically a firearms owner's ID card, an HQL card, and it takes a month to get an HQL card. And the sheriff's department, they're not taking applications or stuff right now for HQLs. So it's a month wait for a handgun.
That's awesome.
And they had to take them all out of the counter because the liberals were all going into the gun shop and they were screaming because they saw all the handguns, no long guns in the shop. And the owners were like, can't sell them to you. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because of you. Because you did this.
Exactly.
And they had to take them all out of the case and lock them all up because nobody can buy them except for me and a few other people. But I don't need to buy anything. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
Question for Andrew and Kenny. Favorite powder for 357 Magnum with 125 grain bullets? Ooh, I like this one. Go ahead, Kenny.
He says Magnum, so I don't have a 357 Magnum, but I've reloaded for a lot of those and a 44 mag. I'm going to say H110 or Winchester 296.
All day.
All day.
All day. H110 all day. Fireball all day. 19 grain, 19.2 grains of H110.
Oh, yeah. See, I was going to say 19 grains. Yeah.
19.2 grains of H110. Another good one is about 15.2 grains of Blue Dot.
There we go. See, Blue Dot, I've heard a lot of good things too.
It's my favorite powder, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I got to get some for. It works for 9 mils very well. That I heard of. Blue Dot worked for 9 mil.
7.8 grains behind a 124 grain bullet, and you've got about a 1,300 foot a second 9mm.
That's awesome.
See, I love Red Dot for freaking shotgun stuff.
Red Dot works great. Blue Dot is Blue Dot across the board. 40 Smith & Wesson, for anybody who cares. It works really well in 40. It works great in 357 Magnum. It works really especially well in 9mm. 38 Special it even works in. It's a great powder. Great powder. It's as old as dirt too. It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah. 38 Super, I've heard it works in there too.
Oh, work anywhere. You just got to work up the load.
You just got to figure out the right load.
Oh, just fill it right up to the rim and crush it down. You're good.
Oh, yeah. You just wipe the top off, push that bullet down. Bam. Ready to go.
What's that, baby?
That's how you reload. See how simple it is?
All right. Yeah.
All right. Well, we are at 2 hours. We are at 2 hours of having a good time. So we'll have to wrap it up here in the next few minutes.
Oh, Bald and Curious has got one. Andrew, in New York, you have to put a pistol on your permit, and you can't put it on your permit now because no judges are signing shit. Hang tight. I want to show you something. Got something to show you.
Let me show you something.
Yeah, let me show you something. Let me see if I can reach it. All right, I'm going to cover up some of the information on here because you don't need to see it. That's a New York State carry permit.
That's a carry permit?
Yeah, that's a carry permit for the state of New York. So I know all about it. And here's what they do on the back of it. When you buy, sell, or trade a handgun, there you go. They individually list every gun on your frickin' permit.
Every gun that you own or every gun that you can use for carry?
You cannot possess or carry a firearm that is not on your permit, specifically individually listed by serial number.
See, when I was in California, at the time you could only have 3 guns on your permit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was
Riverside was only putting, letting 3.
Yeah. I think they actually bumped it up to like, I don't even know what it is now. But yeah, you can only use those 3 guns to carry with. And I hated that.
You know, I had a
Monday gun and a Tuesday gun, a Wednesday and a Thursday and a Friday.
Yeah.
Shit out
Let's see. I have never used H110. Don't you have to watch reducing the charge with that powder, armament, and axes? That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. H110 does not like to be reduced load, so make sure you don't have that. Yeah, a case fill like that. It likes to be slightly compressed. That's what I've noticed on H110.
Full density load. You can get a you can get a low volume detonation with that, and it's a problem. So you want to go as much as you can, and then just basically fill the damn case up and crush it. It's fine.
Scrape the top off.
It's
There you go.
Take a butter knife. Use a butter knife to cut it right off.
Yeah, it works good.
Tap it a
Yeah.
couple of times on the counter. Make sure it's good and full.
Yeah.
Throw a
Yeah,
little
I
bit of
mean-
cream. Throw a little cream of wheat on top of it, and then crush it.
Right.
I guess Andrew owns a property in New York. That's the only way you can get a non-resident permit. Pretty much huge win in New York a few years ago. Well, that is a resident permit, and I do own property in New York.
Nice.
Yeah,
There
I
you
grew
go.
up in New York. I
we
was
own a
in-
training. We own a training facility in Cortland County.
Nice. Yep.
DW. That's funny. Here's my permit.
Exactly.
Rays will roll across the floor. Look like Santa's Christmas list or some shit.
Well, there's 4 amendment sheets stapled to the back of that permit, but there's quite a few of them in there.
You're like, hold on while I whip this out.
Hang on a minute while I whip this out. Which gun are you carrying? Hold on a minute.
Hold on. It's on page 3, I think.
Yeah.
There's when you can have a gun to carry for every day of the month without a permit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
because
you walk in, put it right in your dashboard.
You have no idea the shit I had to go through to get a Maryland permit.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
You have no idea.
I was surprised when I got a California one, but they were just giving them out for like a year. Where I used to live.
I worked
California. There's a couple good counties in California. Other than that,
Fresno.
it's tough, man.
Yeah, Fresno's
San
one.
Bernardino's really good. Riverside's good.
Right.
LA not so good. San Diego really not so well good. And
Well, I
don't know
used to work for an outfit in Fresno, and we were transporting defense articles all over California to do demonstrations and all over the country. I had a California carry permit for quite a long time.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, you had to qualify when I had to do mine. Was it a 5-yard, 8-yard, and 10-yard shoot? 6, 6, and 6. I had to do mine. I had to go all the way to San Diego.
Qualified in
San Diego,
Fresno.
yeah.
It's just your concealed carry permit, handgun permit.
And you got to shoot every gun you own. Or that's on your permit. You got to qualify with everyone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian Marks wants to keep going because he's cooking. Anyone build an 80%? I have an 80% right here.
Oh yeah.
Don't show it. Don't show it.
Don't show it. It's only a part. Actually, that's not the one. Oh, the other one's in the car. Never
I
mind.
got one and I engraved Blinky from Pac-Man, my ghost gun. So
Yeah, my 80% pistol's in the car.
yeah.
Nope. I don't own one. Lost that one in a boating accident.
There you go. Yeah. I know. I'm gonna get one of those magnets. Those really good magnets, and go figure out where all the boating accidents were.
I got
Probably won't catch
just the spot.
Probably won't catch anything.
I got just the spot in Baltimore.
Yeah, TB says 3, 5, and 7 yards for North Carolina.
Yeah, mine was like 5, 6, and 10. That's some
What
weird.
an overachiever. Nice.
Hello.
Yeah, that's how it was in California.
It was dumb too. You had like 5 seconds. You shoot 6, reload, shoot 6. Something if I remember, it goes up to like 8 seconds and then like 40 seconds or something like that.
The guy told me, actually, it was a sheriff. Not the sheriff, but a sheriff deputy. He says, you need to don't shoot so tight because I need to be able to count the things to make sure you didn't miss one. No, he was dead serious. He's all, you have to reshoot it over. He's all, you can't shoot a tight group because if I can't count all the bullet holes. So I'm like, okay.
No.
So I said, all right.
Hey, Baldwin, curious, where do you live in New York? What county do you live in?
I wonder if he says Saratoga.
Lake Norman.
That would be Schenectady County, or not Saratoga County. That's not a county.
No, that's where I used to live.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I went to school in the Catskills. I went to Cobleskill.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad worked at that Edison, the real Thomas Edison factory there at Schenectady
Yeah,
for
the
General
GE
Electric.
plant
GE plant,
right on the
yeah.
river, the one that polluted the Mohawk River.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh,
Yep. I grew
oh,
up
you live
there.
in Dutchess County. Okay, Dutchess County. Nice, beautiful in Dutchess County.
It is. Oh yeah.
Beautiful. We own property in Cortland County. I used to live outside of Syracuse.
Okay.
Brian Marks, in California, you need to shoot a 1-inch dot at 100 yards to qualify. LOL. If that was the case, there wouldn't be one permit.
Yeah. Fucking Ray would be like, hold my beer.
One-handed.
Sideways.
Yeah, gangsta style.
Eyes closed.
Bald said Duchess. I don't know if he already answered that or not.
Yeah, I saw that. Dutchess is beautiful. Catskills is an hour away.
All right. Well, since I got to piss and you guys probably got shit to do.
I got to walk this dog before he loses his mind. It's bedtime and he's got to go.
There you go. And who knows? Maybe I'll do one after, but it's break time. So everybody, Kenny, you got anything coming up, guys? Anything you want to tell everybody?
Well, you know that batch got canceled, so I'm just gonna do what I do and do some long range shooting. Take out that 280 Remington. I got a 300 PRC to try out as well, and my buddy has a few suppressors he just picked up. So,
are you gonna try that 100-yard 4 minute?
Yes, I got to do that.
Yeah, I've been waiting only 5 months for that.
No, I'm sorry, brother.
I'm just kidding. You do it whenever you get a chance.
No, I'll get to it. Yeah, I tried this weekend actually.
Oh, you already tried it?
Yeah, I've been practicing for it.
Oh, you're not allowed to practice. You're Eagle Eye. Just video that shit.
No, I haven't ran, but I'll make sure my rifle is zeroed in. Because every time I go shooting,
You can't do that either. You're not allowed to cheat like that. You just got to shoot that cold bore son of a bitch and hope for the best.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I'll make it happen.
All right, you guys. Have a great night. Stay safe. See you on the next one. And who knows? I might get bored and do another one later.
Rick, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. You guys have a good evening. Stay safe and don't get captured, okay?
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for showing up. Kenny,
Yes,
adios,
sir.
chachos. I'll end the broadcast. We'll still be here. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe. And see you in a little while, probably. Maybe not. No guarantees.
Night, y'all.